Part 20. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 191. I thought that after entering, I would see BeautifulFemaleLead's arrogant face. But the result. Anxiron was a little confused. Did he go to the wrong set? There was no BeautifulFemale here, nor the two partners who wanted to betray him. There was only a handsome and charming man who looked like a fairy. Are you Anxiron? Shen Junqing was half leaning on the sofa elegantly and romantically, holding a glass of wine in his hand, and his peach blossom eyes were still smiling charmingly. I am. Anxiron nodded a little at a loss. Sir, who are you? I am the third brother recognized by Yanyan, and she asked me to handle a small matter. Shen Junqing put down the wine glass and picked up a stack of documents from the coffee table in front of him. This is a small gift from me to Yanyan, please accept it. Anxiron. Where did his Yanyan recognize a brother? Having a cheap brother named Qin is not enough, and now there is another third brother? Anxiron couldn't help thinking that the people of the Yan family missed Yanyan after all. Let Yanyan prefer to trust those who are not related by blood, and no longer trust those brothers who are related by blood. He subconsciously took the document handed over by Shen Junqing and looked at it. Then, his eyes were stunned. After flipping through several pages in a row, he turned directly to the last page. On the top are the signatures of two partners, and the signature below, which can be seen from the font as unrestrained and uninhibited, is Shen Junqing, the very famous playboy of the Shen family in Jinqing. Are you the third young master Shen? Anxiron was a little unconvinced. How could a girl like Yanyan from his family, who is so well off, have such a good relationship with a playboy like the third young master Shen? If she has a good relationship with Qin Lu, this is understandable. After all, Qin Lu is very outstanding and has a lot of personality charm, which can give people a sense of security and reliability. Shen Junqing took in his tangled expression, raised his eyebrows lightly, and asked lazily, I am the third young master Shen, the fourth young master, and do you have anything to say? No. Anxiron shook his head. No matter what, the other party is a friend recognized by Yanyan, and this time Yanyan came to help him. He can't make any decisions because of some rumors from the outside world. And the people who can be befriended by Yanyan can't be bad. After thinking it through, he said to Shen Junqing, you will be the largest shareholder of AEG in the future. I hope we can live in peace. Shen Junqing supported his head and released his evil breath without any scruples. You haven't finished reading the things in your hand. It's not too late to finish reading the rest. Anxiron was reminded by him and found that in addition to the share transfer contracts of the two partners, there was another share transfer contract below. He didn't read them one by one, and he turned directly to the last page. The name of the transferor Shen Junqing was written on it, but the line of the transferee below was blank. You are. Sign your name, and AEG will be yours from now on. Thank you, Mr. Shen. Anxiron's expression was a little solemn. How much money did you spend on acquiring their shares? I will double it back to you. In the beginning, because he didn't have enough investment by himself, he pulled two investors to start AEG. In the past few years, AEG has made a lot of money from playing games, and has also brought a lot of benefits to the other two investors. And he has mentioned several times that he wants to buy the contracts in their hands with a lot of money, and wants to make AEG his own. But the two investors saw the development potential of AEG and said they would not sell it to him. Now that it has been acquired by Shen Junqing and is about to be transferred to him, he is very grateful. Of course, he will not take advantage of him because of the relationship between Yanyan and Shen Junqing. He couldn't open his mouth to buy at the original price, so he simply doubled it. Mr. N should not have heard what I said before. I will give you the shares as a gift from me to Yanyan. No, it's too expensive. Anxiron refused immediately. Even if he calculated it too low, Shen Junqing would have to spend tens of millions to get those shares. Shen Junqing seemed to have guessed that he would have this reaction. After he finished speaking, he slowly handed him his mobile phone. "Let Yanyan tell you." Anziran took the phone in confusion, only to find that the phone was already dialed. "Yanyan." "Yes, it's me." Nanyan's calm and cold voice came from the receiver. "Just sign the contract of the third brother, don't think too much. Besides, he doesn't lack that little money. He could give her 300 million without blinking an eye before, and tens of millions were nothing in his eyes." "Anziran. I will return to Jinjinj tomorrow. If there is anything, let's talk after I go back." "Okay, then I'll wait for you to come back." The brother and sister said a few more words before hanging up the phone. Shen Junqing sighed. "Yan Yan's words should be much more useful than mine. Fourth Masterin, sign your name." "Yes." Anziran did not hesitate this time, picked up the pen on the coffee table, and solemnly signed his name on the share transfer document. From now on, AEG is their own team. No longer threatened or dominated by anyone. After signing his name, he breathed a sigh of relief. Finally, he can give an explanation to his teammates. "Shen Sanshao, I have another question to ask you. You want to ask me how I snatched these shares from Bai Hoxuan?" Shen Junqing had already guessed what he wanted to ask. "In fact, I could easily make Bai Hoxuan surrender and hand over the shares honestly. But there is a dog man who opposes me everywhere." When mentioning the credit that was robbed, Shen Junqing gritted his teeth. He stretched his hands too far. "He is really a dog." "Anziran. Don't worry, Bai Hoxuan will never oppose you again in the future. He is now busy with his own affairs. I am afraid that in a few days, the Bai family will become a thing of the past." Qin Lu took action. How could the Bai family end up well? Although he didn't want to admit it, Shen Junqing had to admit that Qin Lu's methods were indeed more domineering than his. "Nothing else, I'll leave first." Shen Junqing stood up leisurely and patted him on the shoulder naturally. "If you have time in the future, you can find me to play with you." When his hand patted Anziran's body, he was stunned for a moment, and then smiled and said, "If there is time, I will definitely do it." After Shen Junqing left, Anziran hurriedly called Xiaoke and others to tell them the good news. In the ward, there was a burst of laughter, which almost scared the nurses who came to check on the ward, mistakenly thinking that they were all mentally ill. #. In the evening, Nanyan went back to the bedroom to wash and go to bed. Holding the bath towel, his hand was on the door handle, and just as he was about to turn it, there was a knock on the door. Nanyan suddenly remembered something, and the corners of his lips curled up a little playfully, then put down the things in his hands and went to open the door. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 192. After opening the door, it was Qin Lu standing outside. Nanyan leaned against the doorframe, raised her eyebrows, and said in a somewhat presumptuous manner, "Brother, did you come here specially to fulfill the message with me?" Qin Lu. He naturally remembered that he sent a message to tease the little girl. But that was just to tease her. But who knew that he was outwitted by the little girl? Qin Lu felt that he spoiled the little girl too much, which made her sure that he would lose. But Qin Lu's eyes flashed darkly, and he stepped forward, entered her room, and closed the door. "Yan Yan, do you really want to see it?" Nanyan glanced at the closed door, and Qin Lu, who was looking at her with a smile. The damn competitive spirit suddenly emerged. "Of course I want to see it." Nanyan's eyes fell on his chest provocatively. "Brother has such a good figure. I only had a glimpse of him last time, but I didn't take a good look at him. It's really a pity." She was talking about the first time they met. That time she broke into his room, and he just came out of the shower. He was only wrapped in a bath towel around his waist, his upper body was naked, and his good figure was so attractive. This also led to her having several nosebleeds because of the scene later. Qin Lu's eyes gradually darkened after hearing what Nan Yan said. The dark ink color concealed all the light, like a dangerous abyss. Nan Yan suddenly saw his eyes, and her back suddenly felt cold. She had an inexplicable, very ominous premonition. So Yan Yan has such a regret. With a low and hoarse chuckle, Qin Lu's aura was also changing. A kind of bewitching aura, unconsciously centered on him, spread out strongly and irresistibly. Then this time, brother will definitely satisfy your regret. Little girl, I will soon let you know the consequences of taking it off. Qin Lu put his slender white fingers on his collar and unbuttoned slowly. His movements were not fast, but slow, and coupled with his invisible seductive temperament, the whole person was even more enchanting than a demon. While unbuttoning his own buttons, he looked at her. The dark and strange eyes carried some kind of heart-shaking signal. Nan Yan admitted her fear. She quickly raised her hand to hold down Qin Lu's hand that was unbuttoning. Brother. I was joking. I was wrong, I shouldn't say those words, brother, please don't be like me. She raised her head slightly, looked at him seriously and said, I'm still young, I can't resist temptation, and I will become bad. For the first time, she was glad that her body was only 18 years old and still a high school student. No matter how beastly Qin Lu was, he probably wouldn't do anything serious except teasing and scaring her. But even so, she found that she couldn't bear it. Too evil. This will drive her crazy. Well, kid, it's better to focus on your studies. When Yanyan goes to college, your little habits will be satisfied by your brother. The bewitching aura on Qin Lu quickly faded like the tide. And the teasing and danger in his eyes gradually faded. If he continued, he was afraid that he would not be able to control himself. Fortunately, the little girl's courage was smaller than he thought. Nan Yan nodded obediently. Brother, do you have something serious to talk to me about? Qin Lu had already buttoned up the 2 buttons that had been unbuttoned, and glared at her, saying lightly, I wanted to tell you about the Bai family, who knew? Brother, I was wrong, Nan Yan quickly admitted her mistake again. She underestimated the evil level of Qin De Lao. I almost let myself go and scared her to tears. I haven't thanked my brother for the Bai family. Nan Yan saw that Qin Lu's expression was turning cold, and quickly said the rest of the words, I know my brother doesn't like it, so I won't say it. I'll make some medicine for you as a thank you gift in the future. Qin Lu's expression relaxed. Didn't you say that my body doesn't need conditioning? Strengthening your body is always good for your body. Well, it's up to you. Qin Lu didn't refuse, stretched out his hand to rub her head, and whispered, go to bed early, don't play too late. Got it. Nan Yan continued to nod obediently. When Qin Lu was about to leave, she suddenly remembered something and asked, brother, have you investigated yesterday's car accident clearly? It was man-made, I sent someone to investigate. Nan Yan pondered for a moment, do you need my help? No, you just study hard. If you do well in the final exam, I can take you to any place you want to go during the summer vacation. Qin Lu really wanted to rub Nan Yan's fluffy little head again, but he was afraid of rubbing her hair. I had to resist the urge and didn't reach out my hand. Oh. Hashtag. The next afternoon, Nan Yan had to go back to Jinchinj. Qin Xiu and old Madam Qin each grabbed one of Nan Yan's hands reluctantly. Yan Yan, you have to come to see Grandma often in the future, otherwise Grandma will miss you very much. Old Madam Qin didn't mind breaking down her personality in front of her granddaughter. She was completely different from being kind and loving in front of other juniors. After 2 days of witnessing it with her own eyes, Qin Xiu was no longer as shocked as the first time. After comparing her elder brother's love for Nan Yan, she naturally accepted her grandmother's love for her. Yan Yan, after you finish your exams, come here to spend the summer vacation, okay? When Mrs. Jean heard Qin Ye's proposal, her eyes lit up. Xiu is right, Yan, why don't you come here during the summer vacation? It's not easy for grandma to leave the capital. Can you come and accompany grandma? Faced with the enthusiastic old and young, Nan Yan could only nod helplessly. Let's see after I finish the exam. If there is nothing else, I will come. Finally, after coaxing the two people, Nan Yan got into Qin Lu's car and went to the airport. Qin Lu will not go back with her this time. He needs to continue investigating the car accident. At the airport, Qin Lu looked at the little guy in front of him and explained patiently, "Brother, call if you have anything." Oh, Nan Yan nodded obediently. Don't get too close to Shen Junqing. He is not serious. Don't let him lead you astray. Nan Yan. She really wanted to explain for Shen Junqing. But, considering that the two brothers have always had different auras and are childishly jealous in front of her, she chose to shut up. Go ahead, tell your brother when you get home. Okay. Nan Yan carried her bag and turned to walk into the airport. Before she took the second step, the man behind her grabbed her shoulders. Yan. Nan Yan looked back in confusion. Before she could ask what was going on, a cold and fragrant embrace embraced her. Qin Lu lowered his head and whispered in her ear, "Have a nice trip." "Goodbye, brother." Hashtag. It was already past 8 o'clock in the evening when Nan Yan came out of Jincheng Airport. Shen Junqing saw her and flashed twice. "Sister, this way." You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 193. Shen Junqing lowered the car window and waved to her. After Nan Yan saw him, she walked towards him. Before returning, she sent a message to him. Knowing that she was coming back today, Shen Junqing came to pick her up without hesitation. Nan Yan had known him for so long and was already familiar with his character, so she didn't refuse. Therefore, no one from Anziran or Mr. An was contacted to pick her up. After Nan Yan got into the car, Shen Junqing turned on the turn signal and drove away from the airport. On the way, Shen Junqing tilted her head and asked, "Yan, are you hungry? Shall we go eat?" Nan Yan responded lightly. "What to eat?" "Random." A random move stumped Shen Junqing. After much thought, he chose a restaurant that he thought had a pretty good environment and drove there. Hashtag. Dining room. Shen Junqing was holding the menu and was asking Nan Yan what to order in a warm voice when a mocking voice came over. "Hey, you three loser, have you been lifted from the ban by the old man? You came here to pick up girls just after you regained your freedom. You really can't hold up the wall." Shen Wu's voice was deliberately louder, and most people in the restaurant looked this way. "Who is he?" Nan Yan glanced at Shen Wu and asked indifferently. "My uncle's son." Shen Junqing was calm, and did not get angry because of Shen Wu's ridicule. He has heard this kind of ridicule too many times. This also proves that his image is so deeply rooted in the hearts of the people that even his relatives are kept in the dark. Seeing that Shen Junqing didn't pay attention to him, Shen Wu felt a little embarrassed and sneered. "I don't know what kind of ecstasy soup you fed the old man. You have fallen like this. He didn't kick you out of the house and let you continue to fool around in the name of the Shen family. But since I saw this, I can't let you do whatever you want. Go home now." Shen Wu is older than Shen Junqing. He has always looked down on Shen Junqing's younger brother. It can be said that he hates it to the extreme. He felt that Shen Junqing's existence was to embarrass the Shen family and discredit the Shen family. However, the old man had always been tolerant of him and liked him the most. This kind of jealousy caused him to twist into a mentality that took pleasure in beating him when facing his younger brother Shen Junqing. Shen Junqing originally had no intention of talking to Shen Wu, lest he would ruin their mood. It's just another place to eat, it's not a hassle. But Nan Yan's expression darkened. Third brother, does he usually cause trouble for you like this? Yan Yan, don't think your third brother is so useless. Shen Junqing disagreed, I'm just too lazy to care. A loser, taking them seriously is a waste of my time. Shen Wu. Why did he actually hear Shen Junqing describe him as a loser? He was in charge of 2 listed companies for his grandfather. Although the company did not increase much after he took over, it was able to maintain its original profitability. A dandy dares to call him a loser. Shen Junqing, can you say what you said again? Shen Junqing raised his eyebrows, his peach blossom eyes flickering, bringing out a romantic and uninhibited charm. Yan Yan, look, he is not only a waste, but also a retard. Shen Wuqi's face was livid and his mind was unclear. He waved his hand and hit Shen Junqing in the face. You wanna die? Shen Junqing's eyes darkened slightly, and when he was about to take action, there was someone who moved faster than him. Nan Yan raised the hand holding the fork, directly blocking the place where his hand was about to swing down. A sharp piercing sound. Shen Wu's hand was penetrated by the fork. Put the palm in, and 5 sharp points will appear on the back of the hand. Ah! Shen Wu held his hand and screamed. Blood trickled down along the wound pierced by the fork. Shen Wu's facial features were distorted in pain, and he looked at Nan Yan ferociously, how dare you hurt me? Nan Yan pinched the end of the fork and pulled it out casually, you bumped into it yourself, what does it have to do with me? Ouch! Shen Wu screamed again, the wound on his hand was not blocked by the fork, and the blood flowed more happily. The waiter on the side had already seen what was going on here. When he saw someone injured, he quickly came over with a first aid kit and wrapped Shen Wu's hand to stop the bleeding. Shen Junqing slowly took the bloody fork from Nan Yan's hand and threw it into the trash can. If it's dirty, don't use it. I'll ask them to change it for a new one later. The 2 of them were not affected at all and were still discussing what to eat together. The bleeding stopped temporarily, but the pain was not that easy. Shen Wu gritted his teeth and became furious as he looked at the 2 people who didn't take him seriously at all. He took out his mobile phone and dialed the alarm number. While waiting for the answer, he said angrily. Don't think Shen Junqing can protect you. He is just a loser. If I want you to go to jail, you have to sit through it. Third brother, he said he would call the police to arrest me. There was no tension on Nan Yan's face. She supported her chin with one hand and looked a little lazy between her brows and eyes. Shen Junqing reached out and rubbed the top of her head leisurely, don't worry, no one can touch you as long as third brother is here. Nan Yan pulled his hand off speechlessly. Just talk nicely, why should you rub her head? Shen Wu looked at the 2 of them gloomily, even ignoring the waiter beside him who advised him to go to the hospital. He just didn't believe it. A woman with only a little bit of beauty thought that she could do whatever she wanted to him, the second young master of the Shen family, by clinging to Shen Junqing, a playboy. Ignorant women are really the stupidest. Not long after, the police came. Because of Shen Wu's matter, Nan Yan and Shen Junqing had not been able to order food, and could only drink tea to pass the time. Shen Wu saw the police and said coldly, Comrade police, she hurt me in public, I want to call the police and arrest her. There are witnesses around here, who can prove that what I said is true. Shen Wu looked at Shen Junqing gloomily. If he dared to help this woman, he would definitely find a way to let the old man kick him out of the house. The police officer asked Nan Yan in a businesslike manner, Miss, is this the case? Of course not, Nan Yan retorted, it was obviously, my fork was there, and he just bumped into me. It has nothing to do with me. Shen Junqing raised his hand lazily, I prove that what she said is true. My sister and I were having dinner here, and he suddenly came over to cause trouble. He stretched out his hand to hit me for no reason. At that time, my sister was holding a fork and gesturing to me. He bumped into me, and he deserved it. Police comrade, I think I am the victim, and I ask him to compensate me for mental damages. Shen Wu's face turned blue. What nonsense are you talking about? He lowered his voice and said angrily, Shen Junqing, for a woman, do you really want to offend me? Shen Junqing sneered, who do you think you are? How can you be compared with my sister? Shen's family, except for Mr. Shen and his mother, no one else is in his eyes. He turned his head to look at the police. There are surveillance cameras, and you will know if you check the surveillance. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 194. Surveillance was called in. After slow playback, it was confirmed that Shen Wu made the move first, and it was a coincidence that Nan Yan raised his hand at that time. Shen Wu looked at Shen Junqing and Nan Yan with evil eyes, and his face became increasingly ugly. But no matter how angry he was, he could not attack Shen Junqing in front of the police. Mr. Shen, I confirm that it was indeed you who moved first, and this lady accidentally hurt you by chance. Both parties are at fault. If you two don't want to reconcile privately, you can only go to the police station together. The two policemen still administered justice fairly and did not favor Shen Wu just because he was the second young master of the Shen family. In terms of identity, Shen Junqing is still the third young master of the Shen family. Naturally, no one wanted to go to the police station. In front of the two policemen, the three chose to reconcile. Shen Wu was deflated, glared at them angrily, snorted coldly, and prepared to turn around and leave. He couldn't eat this meal anymore. But he must take revenge. Remember to put the emotional damage fee on my card. I will just use it to buy a gift for my sister. Shen Junqing's words made Shen Wuki choke in the throat, and he walked faster. After everyone left, Shen Junqing looked at the girl whose face was colder than usual and couldn't help but said, Yan Yan, why don't you eat somewhere else? No, just stay here. She finds it troublesome. Okay, let them serve the food. Hashtag. After Shen Wu treated his wounds at the hospital, he went directly back to Shen's house to complain to Mr. Shen. Mr. Shen is over 70 years old, but he is in good health. If he does not abdicate, he will be in power for at least another 10 years and his body will be able to hold on. However, he is also a tolerant person. After his three sons became capable, he gradually delegated power. Now I just hold the shares, fish, and play chess every day, and live a leisurely retirement life. But if you think that he doesn't care about anything, you are totally wrong. After all, he was a ruthless man who started from scratch and fought in a group of companies. Even if he is old, he is still a lion. He looked directly at Shen Wu with sharp eyes. You said that the third child indulged his female companion and injured you. Shen Wu was a little nervous under the sight of Mr. Shen, but he still frowned and said, Grandpa, my hand was injured by that vicious woman with a dinner fork. Why? There has to be a reason for her to hurt you. Shen Wu said, I just want to educate the third child and ask him to restrain himself in the future and not to embarrass the Shen family outside. That woman just relied on the favor of the third child and was arrogant to attack me. Teach the third child a lesson. Mr. Shen's expression turned cold. What qualifications do you have to teach the third child a lesson? He is reluctant to give up training. Where will it be his turn? Shen Wu couldn't believe it. Grandpa, because of his ridiculous things, he has become a laughing stock, and you still tolerate him. Even if he becomes the butt of a joke, it's because he wants to. What does it have to do with you? Shen Wu, I'll only say this once. Junqing can do whatever he wants. It's not your turn to point fingers at him. Go out. Shen Wu didn't understand why the old man was so partial to a loser. However, under Mr. Shen's aura, he didn't have the courage to ask. "I got it, Grandpa." He reluctantly agreed and exited Mr. Shen's room. When he left the room, he gritted his teeth. Since the old man doesn't care, he can handle it himself. If Shen Junking is not taught a lesson, how can he swallow this? Hashtag. After dinner, Shen Junking sent Nan Yan back to An's old house. After stopping the car, Shen Junking turned her head and asked, "Yan Yan, are you free tomorrow night?" Nan Yan raised her eyes and looked at him. "What's the matter?" "A competition, what else can it be?" Shen Junking looked forward to it. "The prize is huge, 50 million, and third brother will give it to you. He is not short of money, he just likes this kind of competition." But now he feels that watching Nanyan games while sitting in her car is more challenging. "Okay, pick me up tomorrow night. Nanyan will not have trouble with money. The funds delivered to your door should not be wasted. Then third brother will contact you tomorrow." "Good." After getting off the car, Nan Yan waved to Shen Junking before entering the house. Mr. An and Anziran are still waiting for her. Seeing her coming back, Mr. An immediately showed a smile on his face. "Yan Yan, you are back." Nan Yan put her backpack on the sofa and sat next to Mr. An. "Grandpa, why haven't you rested yet? It's now past 10 o'clock in the evening. Normally at this time, Mr. An would have gone to bed long ago." Anziran smiled and said, "It's not because I'm waiting for you. Grandpa said he hasn't seen you for 7 days. He won't be able to sleep until he sees you come back. I'm only going out for 7 days. Nan Yan sighed helplessly. "Don't wait for me next time. Go to sleep when it's time. Anyway, you can see it the next day. Your body has just improved, so you can't exert yourself. Grandpa knows." Mr. N knew that his granddaughter felt sorry for him, so he nodded with a smile. "It's getting late, Uncle Tian, help Grandpa go to rest." "Okay," Miss Tianyi responded with a smile and came over to help Mr. N to the bedroom. Anziran waited for Mr. N to leave before asking, "Yan Yan, that third young master Shen. Third brother is a very nice person. Fourth brother, don't listen to those rumors." Nan Yan didn't want Anziran to misunderstand Shen Junking. After all, they are all people she recognizes. "Oh." Anziran felt that it was a bit strange to hear Nan Yan call Shen Junking and him together. He frowned and said, "Do we really not have to give him the money to buy shares?" Nan Yan said calmly, "No, he doesn't need money. If I give him money, he will be angry." Anziran. Tens of millions were given as soon as they were said. Anziran understood why Shen Junking could be ranked as the third brother in Nan Yan's rank. "Third brother, I will thank him in other ways. Don't feel burdened." "Okay, then I don't care." Anziran was also free and easy, without too much entanglement. "It's getting late, go to rest quickly, you have to go to class tomorrow." "Yeah." Hashtag. After washing up, she lay on the bed. Nan Yan suddenly remembered that she had forgotten something. Qin Lu asked her to tell him after she arrived. She had forgotten it so much that she only remembered it now. She took the phone from the bedside table and sent a message to Qin Lu. "Brother, I'm here and I'm going to sleep, good night." Qin Lu, who was handling things, heard his phone ring, took it and opened the screen. The message on the screen successfully made Qin Lu laugh. However, it was an angry laugh. 2 hours had passed since her flight landed. She just sent him a message now. The little guy had forgotten about him and just remembered him. Qin Lu rubbed his fingers on the edge of the screen, and a light flashed in his eyes. Finally, he typed a few words in the input box. "Good night, little friend. Let her have a good rest first, and deal with her tomorrow. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss." Author, Junanan. Chapter 195. The next day, Nan Yan took her school bag and went to school. After arriving at school, she went to the dean to cancel her leave. Standing outside the office, she was about to knock on the door, but she heard the dean's angry words from inside. "Principal, the school is a place to teach students to become talents. This is a shelter for students, so that they don't have to worry about other things, just study hard. But now, just because the Zhang family has a background and a stronger status, you have to pretend not to see it. How can you let students trust the school? How can they trust the teachers? Old you, calm down." The principal's voice was a little helpless. "After all, we are just ordinary teachers. The Zhang family is powerful. If we offend the Zhang family, they can make the school closed with just one word. What do you want me to do? We don't intervene. This is a matter between the Lu family and the Zhang family. The Lu family has a good family background. No matter which family it is not something that we teachers can control. Let them solve it themselves." The dean sneered. "The principal's way of dealing with people does make sense, but I'm sorry I can't agree with it. I will definitely investigate this matter to the end." The principal's voice sank. "Old you, why are you doing this? You will only make it difficult for the school." Nan Yan stood outside the office, listening to the conversation inside, and didn't pay much attention. Soon, the conversation inside was over. Hearing the footsteps approaching the door, Nan Yan thought for a moment and took a few steps back. The principal opened the door angrily, his face gloomy, and strode out. Seeing Nan Yan standing at the bottom of the steps and about to step up, he was stunned for a moment, quickly restrained his expression, and showed his majesty as the principal. Principal Nan Yan greeted him lightly. The principal took the posture and said, "Come to see the Dean of Studies." To cancel my leave." "Go in." "Okay." Nan Yan walked up the steps, knocked on the door, and symbolically shouted, "Report." A voice of "Enter" came from inside. The dean, who was still angry, saw that it was Nan Yan who came in, and his face changed immediately. He smiled and said, "Nan Yan, you are finally back. Is the competition over?" "Yes." Nan Yan sat down opposite him naturally. "I am back today, and continue the class." "Then you have to work hard. Don't forget that you promised to take the first place in this monthly exam," the dean said in a serious tone. Nan Yan nodded her head. "Don't worry, since I asked, I will definitely take the exam seriously. There is also a physics competition, you have to participate in 3 weeks." "I know." She had proposed it herself in order to get the vacation approved, so it must count. The dean was in a much better mood when she saw Nan Yan's cooperation. He took a deep breath and said earnestly, "There are only 2 months left before the final exam. You must attend classes in school during these 2 months and you are not allowed to take leave without reason." "Nan Yan, this seems to be impossible." The dean glared. "What else do you want to do?" "Nothing is happening at the moment, but it may not be forever." Nan Yan was quite frank. "If there is something, I still have to take leave." Dean. He understood that Nan Yan had her own ideas. "I am afraid that even the King of Heaven could not stop her from making a decision." Thinking of this, the dean sighed helplessly. Okay, if you have a legitimate reason for taking leave, I can approve it for you, but you have to promise that you will not fall behind in your studies." "Well, don't worry about studying." "That's good, go to class first, it will be time for class soon." Hashtag. After coming out of the office, Nan Yan went to class 4 of grade 2. When the classmates in the class saw her, they greeted her excitedly, calling her boss, boss. By the way, congratulations to her for winning the esports championship. But after the greetings, they became quiet. They all seemed to be in a bad mood. Nan Yan also found that Lu Rongrong's seat was empty. Combined with the words she heard outside the dean's office, Nan Yan vaguely guessed something. What happened? Where is Lu Rongrong? The girl who sat at the same table with Lu Rongrong said, she is in the hospital now. Boss, we want to go see Rongrong after school today. Do you want to go with us? The girl asked cautiously. Let's talk after school. Nan Yan returned to her seat. After putting her school bag in, she took out her mobile phone and hacked into the school's surveillance. Nan Yan is not a person who likes to meddle in other people's business. Especially the group of people in class 4, who left a bad impression on her. But after 2 months of getting along, and the changes in the students in class 4, her original attitude towards them has also changed a little. In the final analysis, Nan Yan is still very soft-hearted. If someone treats her badly, she can fight back without changing her expression. But if someone treats her well, she will treat them well as well. The video has been deleted by Jiang's family. Nan Yan wasted a few minutes to restore the shredded file to its original state. After it was restored, she clicked into watch. The whole process did not exceed 5 minutes. But the surveillance camera captured the picture very clearly. After saving the video, Nan Yan took out her notebook and opened it. The class bell rang, which did not affect her at all. She stood up a book and covered the notebook behind it, and continued to do her own thing. Because of his whose reminder, she found someone pretending to be her on the Western Academic Network. The matter was related to her, and she couldn't help but find out. Nan Yan was checking things all morning. The teachers of various subjects didn't ask her, and they saw that she was not listening to the class, and no one exposed her. In the afternoon, I went to the computer classroom to take a look, and it was time to go home. I went back to the classroom from the computer classroom and prepared to pack up and go back to the old house. As a result, as soon as I entered the door, a group of people inside looked at her. Boss, are you going to see Rongrong with us? Lu Rongrong's desk mate looked at her expectantly. Are you waiting for me? Nan Yan looked at the people in the classroom, frowning slightly. Yes, the class monitor Gu Yuhao came over and stood in front of her. Boss, just go over to take a look. If Rongrong is fine, we will leave. It won't delay you for too long. Then let's go. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 196. The First Hospital. Lu Rongrong was lying on the hospital bed with her left leg in a plaster cast, her pale face full of tears and her eyes red. She didn't listen carefully to what Mrs. Lu was saying to her next to her. All she knew was that her life was over. She started learning dance at the age of 3. She won the city's children's dance competition championship at the age of 7, the 3rd prize in the National Youth Dance Competition at the age of 10, and the 1st prize in the National Youth Dance Competition at the age of 12. Even though her academic performance was not very good, she had art as a plus, and she had long been a specially recruited student from the art department of Taito University. Now her leg is broken. How will she dance in the future? Rongrong, don't scare mom. Mom will definitely find the best orthopedic surgeon to cure you. When you get better, you can continue to perform on stage. You are still young and everything will be fine. Mrs. Lu is arrogant and domineering, a bit shrewd, but she also really loves her daughter. For her daughter, she devoted almost all her efforts. Seeing Lu Rongrong like this, she felt more distressed than anyone else. Mom, I want to be alone for a while. Lu Rongrong gritted her teeth and choked with sobs. Okay, Mom, stop talking and won't bother you. Mrs. Lu shut her mouth and sat quietly by the bed, looking at her with a distressed face. This time, there was a knock on the door. It's probably your father who's here. Let me tell you, he cares most about you. Mrs. Lu said and hurriedly opened the door. As a result, when I opened the door, I saw not one person, but a group of people. The most conspicuous thing is Nan Yan standing in the middle. Why are you here? Mrs. Lu's expression suddenly darkened. She grabbed the door frame with her hands to prevent her from pointing at Nan Yan's nose and telling her to get out. It wasn't enough to bully her daughter at first, but now that Rong was injured, she came here in such a hurry, she must be gloating about her misfortune and watching her jokes. Auntie, how is Rong's situation? We are just worried about her, so we want to come over and have a look. If she is okay, then we won't disturb her. Lu Rong's deskmate and monitor Gu Yuhao asked at the same time. Mrs. Lu was just about to let them go when Lu Rong's voice came from inside. Mom, are they my classmates? Let them come in. Go in. Mrs. Lu swallowed her words and reluctantly let the door open. Just don't go in, don't make my daughter unhappy, she won't want to see you. Nan Yan was stopped by Mrs. Lu. The classmate next to me saw it and said quickly, Aunt Lu, the boss has a very good relationship with Rong now. She must really hope that the boss comes to see her. Yes, Auntie. Nan Yan raised her hand to stop them, and said calmly, you guys go and see her. I have something else to do, so I'll leave first. Inside, Lu Rong heard Nan Yan's words and shouted anxiously, classmate Nan Yan, I know you are here. Don't leave. I have something to tell you. Mom, help me stop her, I really have something to say to her. Mrs. Lu had some embarrassment on her face, but in the end she suppressed her discomfort and said, since Rong wants to see you, just go in. Nan Yan stood still and didn't move. The other students looked at her eagerly. Boss, you're already here, why don't you just go in and take a look? Nan Yan was speechless by this group of people and could only go in. Although Mrs. Lu was unhappy, she couldn't show it. Mom, go buy me some food, I'm hungry. Lu Rong made excuses to send Mrs. Lu out. With Mrs. Lu gone, the ward became more casual. Lu Rong's deskmate looked at the girl on the hospital bed and asked softly, Rong, how are you? Lu Rong's tears fell immediately. She resisted the urge to cry and raised her hand to wipe her tears. He shook his head and said, it's nothing. I just broke my leg. I may have to take a long leave. Fortunately, you can go directly to the art department of Taito University. It's okay to rest for a few months. Take good care of your body first. This is more important than anything else. The comfort from her deskmate made Lu Rong feel even more uncomfortable. She gritted her teeth, nodded reluctantly, and then looked at Nan Yan. Classmate Nan Yan, please don't go to school these days. Zhang Wenqian will not give up. She will cause trouble for you. She even has a grudge against you for what happened last time. If you hadn't been at school these days, she would have attacked you long ago. You must be careful about her. Lu Rong didn't want Nan Yan to be implicated by her. However, after her own experience, she knew that Zhang Wenqian was a madman. She didn't care at all and ignored the school rules. Even she can be cruel, let alone Nan Yan, who is not valued by her family. Rong, was it really Zhang Wenqian who pushed you down the stairs? But Zhang Wenqian told the school that you accidentally rolled down by yourself. Lu Rong smiled bitterly, the Zhang family is powerful, and I can only say it's my own fault to the outside world. I can't bring trouble to the Lu family. It doesn't matter to me. She pushed her anyway. Nan Yan, just avoid it if you can. After Lu Rong reflected on it, she really came to her senses. She didn't want Nan Yan to follow in her footsteps again. Zhang Wenqian is so hateful. There's nothing we can do about it. The Zhang family is not something that ordinary families can afford to offend. Boss, you'd better be more careful. The reality is so cruel. Nanyang was not interested in their nervousness and worries. However, if the Zhang family is so blind and really comes to trouble her, she doesn't mind helping Lu Rongrong get it back. For now, she has no intention of intervening. The conflict between the Lu family and the Zhang family has nothing to do with her. Okay, I get it. You should take good care of your injuries first. Nothing else, I'll leave first. Hashtag. After leaving the hospital, Nanyang sent a message to Tao Qingming. It happened that this was the first hospital, and with Dean Tao here, it would not be difficult to change Lu Rongrong's prescription. Lu Rongrong should be grateful. Her heartfelt feelings just now touched Nanyang a little. That's why Nanyang sent this message to help her completely heal her leg without leaving any sequelae. A child who knows her mistakes and corrects them, she still gave her a chance. Nan Xiao, why don't you come in person? This way, the Lu family can give you extra medical fees. Tao Lao is now familiar with Nanyang and knows that she is short of money. Nanyang saw the message sent by Tao Lao and replied, "No need, she is my classmate, this is her reward for feeding me during this period." Tao Lao sighed, "You are so kind-hearted. A person who is cold on the outside but warm on the inside, and has such a positive outlook." Nanyang. He gave me goosebumps when he said this. She is not kind at all. She is just simple, she will treat anyone who treats her well. So, although the group of people in class 4 of senior 2 bullied the original owner before, they later reformed and turned around to treat her well, and repeatedly hit the wall without turning back, showing their true feelings to her. She reluctantly accepted this group of middle school boys. "Little friend, what are you busy with?" "Sister, is school over? Brother San will pick you up." Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 197. 2 messages were sent to her mobile phone almost one after the other. Nanyang looked at it silently for 2 seconds. She should reply to Shen Junking first and tell him where to pick her up later. Later, when she saw Qin Lu's news, she didn't know how to respond. Before coming back, it seemed that Boss Qin specifically told her not to play with Shen Junking, afraid that he would lead her astray. But now, after hesitating for no more than 5 seconds, she calmly replied, "A classmate broke her leg, and we came to the hospital to see her. Anyway, this is the truth, it doesn't count as lying to him. Besides, she didn't lie to Qin Lu once or twice. It wouldn't matter if she lied to him one more time. Qin Lu, have the relationship between Nanyang and her classmates improved?" Qin Lu later went to learn about Nanyang's situation. She knew that the students in class 4, grade 2, had a lot of objections to her before, and she didn't like them either. Nanyang, well, a group of silly kids who are middle class, so it's not bad. If they are really bad, it won't work even if I, the King of Heaven, come. Fortunately, these people can still be saved, and it is not bad to give them a chance to re-establish their 3 views. Qin Lu couldn't help laughing when he saw the news of her return. When she calls others stupid children, does she forget that she is also a child herself? Qin Lu, then get along well with your classmates, so that campus life can be more colorful. Nanyang, oh no. Qin Lu, be good. Omega. The Japanese word touching the head made Nanyang's expression stunned for a moment. It's a bit of a boss persona. After a slight tisk, Nanyang replied expressionlessly, "Brother, I will accompany you to learn first, you can do your work." Qin Lu, okay. The moment he put down his phone, Qin Lu frowned. Didn't he want to find the little guy to accuse him? Forget it, seeing as how well behaved she is, forget it this time. Hashtag. When Shen Junking received Nanyang, he went to have a meal before driving to the suburbs. "Sister, today's game is different from usual. They changed the way of playing." Shen Junking also received it temporarily, and the other party wanted to change the method of play. We were eating just now and it wasn't appropriate to mention this, so he found a chance to talk about it while sitting in the car. First of all, the venue of the competition has changed. This time we will not run on the mountain road, but on a professional track. Secondly, the participating cars are not allowed to use their own modified cars, and can only use professional racing cars provided by the venue. Oh. Nanyan's mood was very light and he didn't mean to care. Whatever, as long as the bonus remains the same. Shen Junqing nodded, don't worry, the bonus is 50 million, it's a sure thing. That's fine. Professional racing tracks are only available in Linqi and not in Jinqing. Hashtag. The racing scene at this time. Luo Ling sat high in the VIP audience. Naturally, she is not here to compete, but the sponsor of this racing is the Luo family. The 50 million bonus was provided by the Luo family. Miss Luo, this is the information of the contestants who will compete next. The steward handed her a stack of information. The Luo family has a professional racing team. And he has to compete in international competitions. The reason for this competition is that the Luo family needs to select talented amateur racers and invite them to join the Luo family's team. This is how many teams select players. Originally, this matter would not fall on Luo Ling. But because Luo Ling had harassed Qin Lu several times before, Qin Lu warned the head of the Luo family, Luo Ling's father. In order to avoid Luo Ling having time to harass Qin Lu, the head of the Luo family gave her this job. And if we follow past practice, Luo Ling's second brother Luo Yutang will come. Luo Ling took the contestants' information and flipped through it one by one. When I turned to a certain card, I was a little surprised. The third young master of the Shen family also wants to participate. Third young master Shen's reputation as a playboy is quite famous in Jinqing, so there is nothing wrong with Luo Ling knowing him. Yes, Miss Luo, the steward nodded. Shen Sanshao is a senior racing enthusiast. He often participated in previous private competitions. On the information, there is a photo of Shen Junqing. He has a handsome appearance, a dignified appearance, and a pair of charming peach blossom eyes that seem to sparkle in the camera. He is born with the ability to charm people. But Luo Ling is not interested in this kind of man who has nothing but skin and no ability. What she likes is Qin Lu's kind of domineering president who is excellent, has a strong aura, is abstinent and cold. Coupled with Shen Junqing's idle, romantic, and dissolute behavior, Luo Ling could not look down on him no matter how good looking he was. She only wasted half a minute on Shen Junqing's photo, and she continued to look down. After reading it, she pulled out a few pictures and handed them to the steward. Focus on these for a while, and ask them to come to me after the game is over. The information contains basic information about the contestants. In addition to the most basic age, gender, address, and family situation, there is also the time spent playing racing and the results achieved in all competitions. With this time as a reference, we can basically judge the potential and value of a racing driver. Okay, Miss Luo. Hashtag. At 8:30 in the evening, Shen Junqing's car drove into the racing track. Yan, here we come. He unbuckled his seat belt and looked at Nanyan with a smile and affection. Nanyan turned off her phone, put it in her pocket, and rubbed her brows before unbuckling the seat belt. Are you tired? Shen Junqing asked with concern. No, I just looked at my phone too much and felt dizzy. If you feel dizzy, don't look at your phone next time you take a car. Close your eyes and rest. Nanyan looked up at him and said slowly, I know, third brother. Shen Junqing touched his nose. When she was staring at him just now, he almost thought that she was complaining about his meddling. The result? It seems pretty good. Shen Junqing bent his peach blossom eyes and watched the girl calmly get off the car. The inexplicable feelings in his heart were slowly growing. When he arrived at the competition site, Shen Junqing realized that there were so many people participating in the competition this time. There are more than just people from Jinjinj here. Nan Yan narrowed her eyes slightly, scanned the crowd, and said in a low voice, a regular racing team came down to select people. Shen Junqing nodded in understanding, I see. Yan Yan, if you win first place later, won't you be noticed by the people in the racing team? He asked with a little excitement, are you going to join the racing team? No, Nan Yan said decisively, I'm only interested in the prize money for racing. Shen Junqing. Until now, he still didn't understand why Nan Yan was so short of money. What did she plan to do with so much money? After a moment of silence, Shen Junqing put his hand on Nan Yan's shoulder and said seriously, Yan Yan, if you need money, you can tell the third brother and he will give it to you. Nan Yan stared at him expressionlessly for a few seconds and raised her eyebrows. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 198. Nan Yan stared at him expressionlessly for a few seconds, raised her eyebrows and said, Third brother, did your money fall from the sky? Shen Junqing was stunned for a moment before he realized that Nan Yan was insulting him. He sneered, then stared at her with his peach blossom eyes. Yan Yan, third brother is not short of money, and has a lot of spare money. If you need it urgently, I will give it to you first, and you can return it to me when you have money. Oh, I'm not in a hurry. Nan Yan didn't want to take too much advantage of Shen Junqing. Even if Shen Junqing was willing, he was stupid and had a lot of money, so she didn't want to ask for his money for no reason. Good feelings are good feelings. But this is a matter of principle. Shen Junqing. Forget it, his sister is too individualistic. If she doesn't need it, then don't use it. It won't be too late to give it to her when she is in urgent need in the future. Let's go, and see the racing car prepared for us by the race organizers. Yeah. The two walked towards the crowd. The racing cars in the competition venue are all active racing cars that are regularly maintained and have good functionality. Although they are not as powerful as the racing cars assembled by myself, they are definitely enough for the competition. Is it okay, Yanyan? Yes, it's okay. Nanyan is not very demanding on racing cars. As long as the basic skills are good, there is no problem for her. After all, in the competition field, technology is more important than the performance of the racing car. At 9 o'clock in the evening, all the contestants are in place, and the competition will officially start in half an hour. Nanyan and Shen Junqing are sitting in the rest area, chatting casually. Suddenly, there was a commotion in the rest area, which was already quite lively. What's going on? It seems that the initiator of this competition has come. I heard that she is a big beauty. Isn't it that everyone is busy getting familiar with the beautiful president first? Why don't you go over? Me? I'm just about to go. Come on, let's go together. The two contestants walked and chatted beside Nanyan and Shen Junqing. Shen Junqing turned his head and leaned over to Nan Yan, whispering. Yan Yan, I guess the person in charge of the team came to see someone in advance. Do you want to go and see them? No, Nan Yan was holding her phone and sending a message. Marcus hadn't seen her for a few days, and when he knew she was back, he wanted to see her. Shen Junqing supported his head with one hand, his eyebrows and eyes were a little lazy, and he chuckled, okay, then I'll stay here with you and won't join in the fun. His face was stunning, and his decadent posture made him look even more voluptuous and eye-catching. Nan Yan glanced at him from the corner of her eye, and couldn't help but sigh in her heart, what a monster. The word monster, whether used to describe Qin Lu or Shen Junqing, is extremely appropriate. However, this monster is not that monster. One word, but the meaning is different. Luo Ling was surrounded by people, listening to those compliments, with a decent smile on her beautiful face. In front of outsiders, she always has a good grasp of her temperament and aura, high and mighty, but also polite and distant, so that people will not be disgusted. She originally thought that all the racers came to compliment her. She was enjoying the complacency of being noticed, and when she turned her eyes, she saw two people sitting steadily not far away. There are still people who haven't come to see her? Is this not taking her seriously? Luo Ling's eyes showed a trace of unhappiness. She subconsciously walked towards the two people. When she got closer, she saw Shen Junking's appearance clearly. Seeing the real person is a completely different shock from looking at the photo. After all, Shen Junking's divine face can't be captured in a photo. Even though she has always claimed that she only wants to be Mrs. Qin, Luo Ling's heart also beat fiercely. This is too evil. Even though she was fascinated by Qin Lu, she couldn't control it, and her heartbeat accelerated because of his amazement. After taking several deep breaths, Luo Ling barely calmed her heartbeat. Nan Yan had her back to her, so Luo Ling could only see that she was a woman for the time being. "Hello, Mr. Shen." Luo Ling waved away the people around her and walked straight to Shen Junking, with a perfect smile on her face. "I often heard rumors about Mr. Shen, and now I finally see the real person. Miss Luo, nice to meet you." Shen Junking raised her eyebrows in a romantic and unrestrained manner and nodded to her politely. "I didn't expect to see you here, we are also." Luo Ling said casually, looking at the girl sitting next to Shen Junking. When she saw Nan Yan's appearance clearly, the words in her mouth were stuck. How could it be her? Luo Ling's hands suddenly clenched tightly, and a strong disgust and resentment appeared in her eyes. However, she woke up quickly and immediately controlled her facial expressions, so as not to change her face in public. It was just that her sudden hostility was obviously captured by the two. Shen Junking didn't know why Luo Ling was hostile to Nan Yan. But since she dared to be hostile to Nan Yan, she was hostile to him. His smiling expression gradually disappeared, and he asked slowly, "Miss Luo, is there something wrong?" "Nothing." Luo Ling gritted her teeth, "Sorry, I have something else to do. I hope that Mr. Shen will have a brilliant performance later." After that, she left in a hurry. From beginning to end, Nan Yan did not even look at her. "Yan Yan, do you have a conflict with that Luo?" "I think so." Nan Yan said nonchalantly, Bai Hoxuan is her cousin. Qin Lu made a move and directly crippled Bai Hoxuan. Of course, he is still alive and his life is safe, but he was expelled from the Bai family. The head of the Bai family also values the pros and cons. Knowing that it was Qin Lu who took action, in order to avoid the Bai family being implicated, he decisively cut off the relationship between Bai Hoxuan and the Bai family. No wonder. Shen Junking nodded, "It seems that we will be in trouble in the game later." Based on his understanding of Luo Ling's methods are not very glorious. There is a high possibility that she will target Nan Yan in the next game. How can we not participate? With 50 million in hand, there is no possibility of letting go. Nan Yan's voice is indifferent, and her cold eyebrows are without any emotion. Besides, I need a reason to deal with her. This reason will soon be delivered to her by Luo Ling himself. She raised her eyes to look at Shen Junking, and said faintly, "Third brother, you don't have to go to the game later, wait for me in the audience." "That won't work," Shen Junking refused. "Third brother wants to go with Yan Yan." He guessed that Luo Ling would do something tricky. How could he let Nan Yan face the danger alone? Nan Yan looked at him speechlessly, and sighed for a long time. Okay. At most, she would protect him a little. After all, telling him directly that he would cause trouble for her when he went up would hurt his self-esteem a little. Hashtag. After Luo Ling came back from the rest area, he went directly to find the manager of the stadium. "Miss Luo, do you have any instructions?" Luo Ling looked gloomy. "Which car is Shen Junking's?" "You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 199. The steward of the racetrack immediately understood what Luo Ling meant. He quickly took Luo Ling to the car that Shen Junqing was going to drive. Miss Luo, if it's too obvious, the Shen family will definitely not let it go. It should be more secretive. Don't worry, I know my limits. Luo Ling called a professional mechanic and asked him to tamper with the racing car. Each racing car basically has two people, a racer and a navigator. Since Shen Junqing and Nan Yan came together, then naturally, Shen Junqing is the racer and Nan Yan is his navigator. She has always wanted to find an opportunity to get rid of Nan Yan. But Bai Hoxuan, that idiot, she sent people to help, but she still escaped. When Bai Hoxuan was kicked out of the Bai family, the first person to ask for help was her. But she didn't see him, and asked the housekeeper to kick him out. In her eyes, a worthless waste is not worth her trouble. Since Bai Hoxuan failed to help her do this, now, she will do it herself. Luo Ling wanted Nan Yan to die. Only if she died, Qin Lu's eyes could move away from her. In this way, she would have a chance to stay with Qin Lu and win his heart. So, even if the manager said that it would offend the Shen family if it was too obvious, she would let the car accident happen. He was just a playboy, without any ability. How could the Shen family value him? As far as she knew, many people from the Shen family looked down on Shen Junqing and didn't have a good face for him. If he died here today, the Shen family would probably just say he deserved it. They would not investigate whether the car accident was man-made. Miss Luo, can you make the brakes of this car disappear completely? Okay. On the track, without brakes, there is absolutely no possibility of survival. Hashtag. At 9:30, the race officially began. Nan Yan sat in the driver's seat, and Shen Junqing sat in the co-pilot seat. After getting in the car, Nan Yan first checked the condition of the car. Brake failure, intelligent system disorder. It turns out that she wants to kill me this time. How much does she hate you? What did you do? She has no reason to kill you just because you dealt with Bai Hoxuan. I'll ask her after the game. To be honest, she was a little confused. She and Luo Ling didn't have much in common, so it stands to reason that there shouldn't be such a deep conflict. Shen Junqing looked solemn. Yan Yan, do you still want to compete? The racing car has no brakes, and even the intelligence system has problems. If you drive such a car to compete, it's too dangerous. Small problem, not much impact. Nan Yan opened her mobile phone, entered a web page, and then connected the car and the mobile phone with a data cable. The convenience brought by intelligence, for computer experts, everything can be solved. Shen Junqing. He felt that his IQ was being laughed at. Really? Outside, it was already counting seconds. With a gunshot, all the cars on the track rushed out. And the car that Nan Yan and Shen Junqing were sitting in stopped where it was. Luo Ling frowned. Why don't they move? The manager scratched his head. I don't know. Luo Ling didn't expect him to answer, and said to herself, did they find something wrong with the car? Just when she wanted to find someone to ask about the situation, the car parked on the track finally moved. Luo Ling's anxious mood calmed down. A sinister sneer appeared at the corner of her mouth. It turned out that it was too late to start. As long as this car starts, this track will be the road to hell. Nan Yan's speed is very fast. Like a flash of lightning, it moves quickly on the track, surpassing one car after another. Looking at the car speeding up, Luo Ling's smile on his face is getting brighter and brighter. At this speed, as long as the two cars collide, the chance of survival is slim to negligible. The brakes failed, the steering failed, and with her advanced deployment, they can't get off the track. Luo Ling's emotions have begun to get excited. It seems that she saw Nan Yan's car destroyed and the person was killed, and the appearance of being hit beyond recognition. On the track, Nan Yan was able to handle it with ease. The phone connected to the car intelligently, and the intelligent voice inside directly directed the complete map to the display screen for her. There was no need for Shen Junqing to remind her of the road conditions, and the navigator was useless. Shen Junqing silently tightened his seat belt. Once again, he felt Nan Yan's strength. High IQ talents are indeed like cheats. In the last lap, Nan Yan was far ahead, crossed the finish line first, and won the first place. The smile on Luo Ling's face was the brightest when the car was about to hit the protective wall. Then, when it seemed that there was only 1 meter away, the picture she wanted to see would appear. The car that was driving fast drifted, and the body rubbed against the wall. Relying on the friction between the wall and the body, the speed of the car gradually slowed down. The speed of the car slowly decreased until it stopped. Bang! Luo Ling suddenly stood up and knocked down the chairs behind her. How could this happen? The cold words squeezed out from between her teeth made her face hideous. Damn it! They actually survived. Not only did he survive, he also won first place and won the 50 million. Luo Ling felt like she had eaten a fly, her face turned green. Her assistant beside her quickly advised. Ms. Luo, calm down. Don't forget that we are here to choose a racing driver this time. This is a task given to you by the family leader. You can't ruin the family leader's affairs because of personal grudges. Nan Yan belongs to Master Qin. It would have been better if she died in the racing car before, but now that she is not dead, if you target her again and let Master Qin know, I'm afraid he will be angry. Shut up. Luo Ling's face turned pale. It's not like she's brainless, she can still see the pros and cons of this. If she fails this time, she will have another chance. She's not in a hurry. However, she couldn't swallow this breath. Hashtag. At this time, on the racing track, the car driven by Nan Yan was abnormal, and other racers also saw it. What's going on? Did the brakes of that car fail? Absolutely, otherwise why would external friction be used to slow down the car? This is too scary. The car was so fast just now. If you were not careful, the car would be destroyed and people would be killed. The racers inside are really too strong and have such a strong mentality. He deserves first place. Yeah, driving a car with broken brakes and beating the second place by 7 minutes and 28 seconds is really awesome. Look, the racing driver is out. Holy shit, that's a woman. Nan Yan opened the car door and got out, taking off his helmet. A head of long black and smooth hair fell like a waterfall. The delicate and beautiful eyebrows, under the illumination of the light, are as beautiful as a dream, very unreal. Mom, I saw an angel. No, it's a fairy. Angels are from the west, but fairies are our eastern gods. Yes, it's a fairy. Luo Ling's eyes widened in disbelief the moment Nan Yan got out of the car. The person who drove the car just now was not Shen Junqing, but her. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 200. Luo Ling's shock disappeared in a blink of an eye. Even if her racing skills are high, it doesn't matter. She won't choose her. The racers who came to the race today are more or less for the reputation of their Luo family, and want to join the Luo family team so that they can step onto the international stage. Unfortunately, she controls the right to whether they can be selected. Thinking of this, Luo Ling sneered, raised her chin proudly, and walked slowly to the stage. The next step is the selection process. Nan Yan and Shen Junqing have no interest in this, and plan to deal with Luo Ling after she gives the prize money. As for why they have to wait for the prize money, Nan Yan is worried that if she makes trouble for Luo Ling now, the Luo family will not give her the 50 million, then her efforts will be in vain. Luo Ling's gloomy eyes looked at the two people who were sitting steadily in the rest area as if they were out of the matter. Why pretend to be calm? Do you really think that she must choose her if she gets first place? Self-righteous. Luo Ling was already imagining in her mind how disappointed Nan Yan would be if she found out that she was not among the selected names after she finished reading them. At that time, she should come to beg her to let her join the team. She was just an ugly duckling who was not liked by her biological family. Why should she compare with her? Luo Ling retracted her gaze, stood in the crowd, and read a few names. Those whose names were read were immediately delighted and excited. The above racers can participate in the second round of assessment. As long as they continue to pass the second round, they can join the Luo family team. At the end of this year, they can follow the Luo family and rush to the international competition. Great! International competition. My persistence for so many years has finally paid off. I finally got the chance. The selected racers couldn't help but feel excited as a child. Luo Ling also looked at Nan Yan with pride. After all, she was not among the selected ones. Would she be angry that her selection was unfair? When she came to question her, she could still tell her with contempt. There is not so much fairness in this world. From head to toe, except for that face, how can she compare to her? Only she is worthy of a man like Qin Lu. Before Luo Ling finished feeling proud, her cell phone suddenly rang. She took a look and saw that it was her father's call, so she answered it quickly. Dad, what's wrong? Xiao Ling, no matter what the price, you must sign the first place for me. Luo Mingfeng's majestic tone was commanding. Dad, did you see the game? Luo Ling was a little panicked. You don't know how to race, so I'll let you go by yourself. Do you think I can rest assured? The whole race was recorded and sent to me. Luo Mingfeng's voice was faintly excited. The first place winner is definitely a talented racer. As long as she joins our team, the national competition at the end of this year will definitely be a blockbuster. Xiao Ling, you must sign her, do you hear me? Luo Ling held the phone tightly. Due to her father's order, she reluctantly replied, okay. Damn it. How did Dad see the video of Nan Yan's race? Now she must sign her, which completely violated her original intention. Luo Ling was annoyed for less than 3 seconds, and another idea came to her mind. As long as Nan Yan was signed, wouldn't it be possible to control her personal freedom? When she became a member of her Luo family team, it would be easier for her to deal with her. After thinking of this, Nan Yan suddenly felt relieved. She smiled again and walked towards Nan Yan. Miss Nan, congratulations on winning the first place in the competition. You won a prize of 50 million yuan and were lucky enough to join the Luo family's team. And you are a formal member and don't need to participate in the second assessment. After she finished speaking, Nan Yan hadn't replied yet, but the people around her began to whisper. I thought, how could the Luo family not want the first place? It turns out that the first place has privileges, and the treatment is different from those of us who need a second assessment. But speaking of it, anyone with eyes will definitely not miss the first place racer. He is so capable. If he is recruited, it means adding a general. I am convinced, it's incomparable. I am not interested in joining the team. Nan Yan's indifferent words made everyone present look at her. Even those who were talking shut up. The smile on Luo Ling's face froze. Miss Nan, what do you mean by this? It means literally. Nan Yan leaned lazily on the sofa. I came to participate in the competition just for the prize money. Please transfer the prize money to me quickly, Miss Luo, don't waste my time. Luo Ling was choked by her words and his breath stagnated. She thought that she would be grateful if she told the Luo family that they signed her, but she actually disdained to join? This contrast almost made her explode with anger. She took a deep breath, suppressed her anger, and said with a fake smile. Miss Nan, are you trying to make a concession to the Luo family? I can give you a clear answer. The Luo family treats every official member well. I hope you won't be too greedy. I just want the bonus, not to join the team. Isn't this attitude clear enough? Nan Yan's eyes looked at an idiot. If you don't understand, I'll say it again, Miss Luo, transfer the bonus to me quickly, I'm in a hurry. Shen Junqing wanted to laugh when he heard it. His sister was so straightforward, she was slapping Luo Ling in the face. But when he thought of Luo Ling trying to kill her, the smile that just appeared in Shen Junqing's eyes turned gloomy. No matter what the reason is, as long as he dared to hurt Nan Yan, he could not be forgiven. The Luo family had better pray that this was done by Luo Ling alone. Otherwise, he would not mind and take action against the Luo family. Luo Ling had no time to look at the changes in Shen Junqing's expression, gritted his teeth and said sternly, Nan Yan. Don't be ungrateful. Are you sick? Nan Yan rolled her eyes coldly, it's my freedom to join the team or not. After a pause of 2 seconds, she raised her eyebrows and said, otherwise, you kneel down and beg me, I can consider it. Luo Ling, you are looking for death. She couldn't bear it anymore. Being humiliated in public by Nan Yan like this, all rationality was thrown behind her head. In anger, she raised her hand and wanted to hit Nan Yan. Shen Junqing's face suddenly turned cold and gloomy. He was about to make a move, but Nan Yan was faster than him. She stood up, easily grabbed Luo Ling's hand with her left hand, and slapped her face with her right hand without mercy. The loud slapping sound made people around feel a pain in their faces. You dare to hit me? Luo Ling's face was numb from the pain, and she didn't feel any pain for the time being. She looked at Nan Yan a little blankly. She was the eldest daughter of the Luo family. Even her father had never hit her. How dare this bitch hit her?